Morning, everybody. Got ourselves another beautiful day here to do some line boring. So here's today's project. Just got a little bit of let's see, you can't see it on this side so much, but here we got a little bit of this kind of problem going on. Obviously I should not be able to pull the bushings out and throw them on the floor. So anyway, we're going to get to exploring this problem and see what we can do to make her a healthier excavator again. We can do a little walk around in the machine. Oh, what do we got? Oh, Cat 312. Not a bad looking machine, actually. Counterweight's not beat up too bad. Decent looking tracks on her, so. Yeah, I think this one is maybe mostly an owner-operator outfit, and they tend to not beat their machinery up near as bad as the big guys do, so. Anyway, we're gonna have at it and get this thing healed. All right, everybody. I got some fun stuff to show you. So, on a job like this, I always have them send me a picture. Bushing is in the hole, like asking like, how bad is it? You know, how loose? So everybody wants to know how much money, and I'm going to show you one of the reasons that comes back to bite you in the butt every time. So I'm poking around in here and something's flaking off the sidewall, and I start getting these chunks of JB Weld coming loose in the sidewall. The bore is way worse than it looks. Somebody has been in here running beads of weld in here to tighten it up, and then smearing a bunch of JB Weld in the hole and stuffing a bushing in it. So we are definitely in for a hog and her out program. And then what's even scarier is now you have no idea where the center line of this hole is anymore. Oh, here's the other beautiful thing. See this? Somebody has welded spacers on the outside face. There's a non-factory weld bead there and there where somebody has welded rings to the outside in an attempt to fix it up. Which I've done that before at times too in some applications, but once again, it means I don't trust anything here. We're gonna have to talk to the customer and see how they want to tackle this. So, we're making a little progress. Shockingly, when I stuck this in with my alignment cones and measured off that bar, they were dead nuts parallel with each other. I was blown away. They're skewed a little bit this direction, but it's close enough to let me go ahead and mount my bearing mounts and then adjust. And that's what I really needed to know, is if, you know, I was within the range of adjustment on these mounts, and it definitely is. So anyways, so I would say whoever was messing with it before, despite it being kind of a hillbilly fix, they were trying to be careful. They didn't let it get way crazy out of whack. So anyhow, we're going to carry on, but I'm encouraged by that. I think, unless I run into some crazy snag, this shouldn't turn out to be too bad of a project to get wrapped up today. Well, we're just getting in here. Out here at the edge, this hole is the one that had all these broke up chunks of bushing in it. And it is bell-mouthed so bad, I didn't even start cutting until I was in like that deep. And only on one side a little bit, so it's really blown. I got a bad feeling this is going to be at least a 2-pass weld day, so it's not the end of the world. It's just, it's kind of a pain because this is a small enough hole that I might have to cut between weld passes, because otherwise the weld tubers get big enough you can't get your bar back through there if you have anything go wrong. So. And I'm praying there's none of that stupid bushing embedded in the sidewall, because it crashes your tool immediately, and then you get to get in there with a die grinder and try and cut it out. Anyway, so far so good. Alright, interesting developments. By the way, I didn't mention it earlier, but I'm assuming you can all hear that outrageous 60 hertz hum in the background. This is an old commercial building, and the 3-phase power comes in over there, and there's a really obnoxious step-down transformer over there just screaming that's making the 240, 120 volts for this building. But anyways, so the owner stopped by and I found out more about this ugly, ugly tale. So it turns out 2 years ago, he took this to a guy that was supposed to be a line boring guy, air quotes, And that guy fixed it, gave it back to him. It was all nice and tight. So when he come in and I'm like, hey, what's with all this JB Weld in the hole? He's like, what JB Weld? So turned out all of this baloney, he had no idea it was in there. Now, first off, I'm shocked that he made it 2 years. Because what I was finding as I was peeling that out was stringer beads of Weld with huge gaps in between, and the JB Weld smeared in, they're just taking up the difference. So first off, crazy, crazy, crazy that it even survived. I mean, I say 2 years. It's obviously been hurting bad for a while now. It probably survived 1 year and then has been falling apart for the last year. But anyways, what we're looking at here is some crazy, crooked, shyster bullcrap. So those kind of guys make me really, really mad. Honestly, I don't think the owner's very happy, and I wouldn't be shocked if he goes and hunts the guy up and grabs him by the throat. But anyhow, so get a load of this. I've made 100 thousandths on a side cut through here now. Look at the welds in here. This is still weld showing up because it was in pretty bad shape. I mean, look back in here. I don't know if you can see that. That's after I have cut 100 thou on a side off. There are still huge cavities back in here. Weld quality is just garbage. There's hard spots over, like, see that? Nice shiny bead. I don't know what they went in there, but I am tearing tooling up cutting this out. Now on this side, the bushing had self-destructed, and even 100 thou on a side has not cleaned up yet. But you can see more evidence of the hard weld beads and passes in there. You can see the color difference. But anyways, the worst job I've ever done in my life wasn't even close to as ugly as this is. I mean, unbelievable. I can't decide if I ought to be mad or amazed, because frankly, if you'd have shown me this crap when it got put in and said, how long do you think it'll last? I'd have laughed and said 5 minutes, and here we are 2 years later. But anyway, so I guess I don't know what the moral of the story is. All you crooked guys that are out there doing this kind of crap, no wonder you're getting away with it. But then for whatever else, I just figured you guys would get a kick out of seeing, like, this is how ugly some of the stuff that's getting passed off as line boring work actually looks. He was shocked when I told him whoever did this didn't own a line boring machine. Like, he literally said, what? He bored it. And I'm like, no, he definitely did not bore it. What I saw was weld beads, took a hand grinder, knocked the tops off them until the bushing would fit in the hole, and then slammed it in with JB Weld. So anyways, I'm going to set up the bore welder, I think, at this point. I do got a lot of cavities and pockets, but to be honest with you, I do not want to cut this that crazy oversized. What I'll do is probably lay a pass in there, see where I'm at and what it looks like, and decide if I'm going to cut it back square at that point, or if I'm going to go ahead and lay a second pass on and see if it cleans up. So it's just going to depend on what my welds look like when I get there. All right, we're on our first pass through there. It's about what you would expect. Just spit and spatter and mess. I ran into one issue that I had not anticipated. And that is, because these plates are welded on and they didn't do a good job of fully welding it, grease got drove in between that plate and the end of the stick, so I'm fighting all kinds of grease boiling out of there. It never even dawned to me that that would happen, because when I put a plate on like that, I always leave the plate oversized, weld through it, and it's completely sealed up. But these ones weren't from the crappy weld job, so... or at least the one on that side wasn't. I had grease boiling out through my welds. There's going to be some nasty porosity in there and stuff I'm going to have to check out. Might have to grind some spots out, hand weld them, we'll see. Okie dokie. So, we're welded through there. I did a little hand welding on the face there because the bore welder doesn't do a nice job of getting right up to the edge. Same thing over here. But give or take a few, I'm sure, pock marks where I got grease and JB Weld working their way out of weird cavities and pockets in there. I think we're looking pretty good. I'm pretty sure it's going to take 2 passes, but I think I'm going to set up here and take a skim cut through there and take it. We'll see how far. I'm going to take it a ways and just see what it's looking like, and then decide if we're going to cut it oversize and re-weld it, or if I'm going to hand touch up spots. Depends on how close to cleaning up it gets. So we'll find that out after lunch. It's cooking hot right now, so I'm going to go get some lunch, let her cool off, and come back and cut on it. All right, well, we're on what should be 1 fit pass before finish pass. I'm taking a 7.5 thou cut out of there on a side right now, just kind of bit of a spring cut basically. I took a little more, but it's pretty light cut. And she's cleaning up pretty good. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. There's a spot in the back there. You can see a few little dimples and ripples back there. There was stuff boiling out of the base because there was such a cruddy weld job in there before. Really did not want to cut it a bunch oversized, but as I'm sure some of you will argue with me and say I got to get rid of all of those, but I want to remind you this thing lived for 2.5 years with JB Weld holding the bushings in, so pretty sure a couple of pock marks in the weld aren't going to be catastrophic, and honestly the rest of this machine is really loose. I don't think they're in the we want to make it good as new mode. Like up here, I don't know if you can see this, but all kinds of play at the rest of these joints. This one was just eating its bushings and spitting them out in pieces, so anyhow, but yeah, it'll be a good fix. I'm adding about 1.5 thou of press fit on the bushings over factory, and it'll be tight, and this will outlive the rest of the machine now. So I'm just about wrapped up here. This one is done. The faces weren't bad enough to warrant machining, so you can see they're a little battered up, but not terrible. So we just let the weld come through, and then I just took a disc on my sander and just touched them off. So you can see kind of a ripple, because it was eroded more at the edge. I just tried to get it to where it's flush across the face, but anyways, it actually is coming out shockingly nice. You can see 1 or 2 little divots in there, but really a pretty nice bore considering what a disaster zone we started with. So I've got about 1 more round of in and out with the sun and rigid hone on this side, and then we're ready to knock my mounts off. I usually leave them on right until the end just in case I screw up. Now with honing, it's pretty tough to take a hole too big, because usually I got enough practice. I know about how long it takes to get a thou out, and but just to be on the safe side, I leave them hanging on there until I'm pretty well done, and then I knock them off just before I press the bushings in. But anyways, we're about to call this one a wrap. Well, there she is. It is done. Now I'm just picking up, cleaning up. We're getting out of here. I would normally slip my pin through there just to make sure that the bushings hadn't shrunk more than anticipated and tighten it up, but they haven't got the new bushing here yet. So anyways, customer will put it back together, and I'm gonna get out of here. So another one in the books. We'll catch you guys next time. All right. So I thought I would just give you the wrap up on it. So when it was all said and done, I had just about exactly 8 hours into this thing. Getting set up, boring it over, welding it, reboring it, honing it to size, pressing bushings in. So anyways, with a little bit of mileage thrown in, it's not too far from my shop, came to $1,153. So I would say, for this area, that's pretty reasonable. I know the dealer is way higher than that. They're averaging about double what I'm charging. So anyways, that's what this one boiled down to. We've got her done, and we're ready to roll. You can probably hear the truck idling in the background. So catch you next time.